My name is Yuri Maltsev, and I am labor economist. I got my PhD from the Institute of Labor Research in Moscow, Soviet Union. I'm teaching labor economics in the United States and elsewhere in the world. And I would like to share with you my views and my opinions on labor market situation in South Africa. But before doing that, I would like to share my experiences as Soviet labor economist. And I would like to tell you that Soviet labor market was not a market. It was a huge concentration camp for forced labor. Because real world socialism is nothing but public slavery. Not many people in South Africa know the real cost of socialism in the Soviet Union. Anywhere from 43 to 61 million people were murdered by their government for the sake of making them to work. Because under socialism, there is no incentives to do anything. The only way to make people do what they want to do is to threaten them with crude force, to threaten them with concentration camps, death, Kalashnikov machine guns, being shot in the basement of the prison. 43 to 61 million people. I don't even care which number you can pick. 43, 61, something in between. All these numbers are beyond human comprehension. That's what Stalin referred to. He used to say that death of one person is a tragedy. Death of a million, just statistic. So Soviet labor economics, it was part of central planning of how to so-called utilize human resources. So human resources were utilized to the point that life expectancy in the Soviet Union was 57 for men and 66 for women. So it's much lower than in any other industrialized country. And it's very sad for me because I love this country, I love South Africa, and I feel myself South African. It's very sad that many people still believe in this, still believe in the false promises of socialism, still believe that promising people to give them what they want for nothing can make people prosperous or free. It's all the time trade-off between freedom and slavery. And the sad thing about New South Africa is that the government of South Africa is making these false promises, promises which led to the destruction of the Soviet Union, of Russia, which could be one of the richest countries in the world, with 11 time zones, with 1/6 of the world territory. So in South Africa, we have extremely rigid labor market, getting more and more inflexible, depriving more and more people from the most basic human right to earn their own living. And this is very sad. President Zuma, now speaking about 2 weeks ago, he promised another 6 million jobs to be created, or job opportunities, as he put it. How the government can create jobs? Government can create jobs only destroying other jobs. Because if you take from here, you need to destroy something else. Everything has opportunity cost. Everything has an opportunity cost. So 6 million job opportunities can be created only by private sector. 6 million government jobs, which was such a burden on South African economy that the country economically would not recover. Today, South African economic growth is one of the lowest even in Africa. It's 1%. Just a couple of months was on the island of Mauritius. Mauritius is a completely resourceless island in Indian Ocean, not far from South Africa. And the people of Mauritius achieved miraculous standard of living. It's higher than in South Africa. It's more evenly distributed wealth around the island. You don't see poverty as much as you can see it in South Africa. For what reason? The reason, the answer is very simple. Economic freedom. Economic freedom, that is the reason for success. That is the reason for success. And we should keep that in mind, that it's very, very important. Economic Freedom Fighters Party in South Africa does not have anything to do with economic freedom. I think the economic freedom fighters the same way as the firefighters fighting fire, and economic freedom fighters are fighting freedom. So, and they're making the same false promises as were made for Russian people, for Cubans, for North Koreans, for Chinese, who got themselves into this mousetrap of free cheese called socialism. And so these people suffered enormously. And I would like to warn you, my South African friends, that it is time to reconsider economic policies. It's time to get rid of these burdensome regulations of the government which is telling people what to do. People are brighter than that. People are cooperating with each other. And if they do that on voluntary basis, then the country would thrive. Thank you so much for listening.